With our warm up, we're going to start swinging those arms up and down, coming into that shoulder stretch, getting that full range of motion. And then we'll go ahead and start swinging it left to right. Maybe you get that little step in. Maybe you stretch off the neck, side to side. Really squeezing those shoulder blades back. Hello, Jonathan and Son. If you have dumbbells, feel free to grab them. We're going to go ahead and stop our legs outside of those hips, bend it straight over. Try and touch the floor if you can. Stretch out the back of your hamstrings. And then we will go ahead, bend those legs coming down into that nice deep squat, hands up. Push the knees out with your elbows. Really open up those hips. And then we will go ahead, bring our arms overhead, stand it on up to repeat. Bend it over, hinge at those hips. Keep those legs nice and straight. And then bring it down, nice low squat, hands up, push the knees out, open up those hips. We just have one more after this. Arms overhead, stand it on up, bend it over one last time. Really get that one nice deep stretch in. And then bring it down nice and low. Hands are up. This time we're going to raise that right arm into the air, twist to the right, shoulders stacked on top of each other. And then we'll bring that right arm down, switch sides, left arm up. And then let's go ahead. Bring it on down, open up those hips one last time. Arms overhead, stand it on up. Next, we are placing our hands on the ground, stepping it back to that high plank. Lower the hips to the floor into that up dog, stretching out your core. Then we will raise the hips up, step that right foot forward into that hip flexor pulse. And then let's switch legs, left foot forward. Bring it on back to that high plank, lower the hips down. And then let's raise it on up, right foot forward. And then the left. Just have one last one after this. Bring it back to that high plank, lower the hips down, stretch out the core, raise those hips up, step that right foot forward. And then the left, last time. Let's go ahead and step it back and bring it on up. That is our warm-up today. We will go ahead and get started. Like I said, if you have dumbbells, feel free to grab them. We have 3 circuits, each broken up into pairs. So I'm going to go ahead and demo our first pair of exercises. We are going to start with a Romanian deadlift to a squat. So standing, hip width apart. You're going to have that slight bend in your knees, shoulder blades back, keeping that back nice and straight. You hinge at the hips till your chest is parallel. Hands should come to mid-shin. And then if you have a weight, you're going to power it up to bring the weight over your shoulder and come down into that squat. So come down to that mid-shin, bring it on up, bring it down into a squat, and then back up to repeat. If you don't have a weight, it's still the same thing. You'll just keep your hands by your head, hinge it over, and bring it back up, and then come down into that squat. So you're hinging over until your chest is parallel to the floor, powering it up, and then dropping it down into that squat. Second exercise, we are going to be doing a Renegade row push-up. So if you have the weight, you're going to hold on to them, rowing it up, 1 on each side, drop it down to that push-up. If you don't have the weight, it'll still just be the same thing, just on your hands, 1 row on each side, squeezing those shoulder blades back, and then dropping it down to that push-up, making sure you're leading with your chest and not your forehead. So we're going to go ahead and get started standing with our deadlift. So you should be starting hip width apart, slight bend in those knees, shoulder blades back. If you have a weight, You're just gonna hold them down. If you don't, you can just keep your hands by your head. Our first round, we are doing 2 sets, 35 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, starting in 3, 2, 1, hinge it on over, and then power it up, bringing it on up into that squat. So deadlift, raise it up, down into the squat. Making sure shoulder blades are back, back is nice and straight. We have 15 seconds. Five more. You can fit one last rep in. 3, 2, 1. Let's rest. One more set. Same exercise. So making sure you're starting. Slight bend, shoulder blades back, weights up. In 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Come to mid shin. Then power it up and bring it down into a squat. Knees come into that 90-degree angle. Making sure as you come down into that squat, your knees are being pushed out and they're not caving in. Just over 10 seconds, and then we're dropping it down into our push-up. 3, 2, 1. Bring it to the floor. We have our Renegade row push-up. So if you don't have a weight, you're just gonna come into that normal high plank. 1 row on each side, then drop it down into the push-up in 3, 2, 1. Row it up, 1 on each side, then drop it down to that push-up. And of course, if you need to, you can always come into the knees, modified, and then drop it down. Squeeze those shoulder blades back. As you row, we got 10 seconds. Don't let that back cave. 3, 2, 1. Let's rest. Whew. One more set of these, and then we're coming back into that remaining deadlift to squat. Come into position 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees up. Row it 1 on each side, then drop it down to that push-up. If you need to, you can be on your knees, rowing on each side, and then dropping it down into that push-up. We have 15 seconds. Can fit at least 2 more push-ups in there if you can. 3, 2, 1. Let's rest, and we're gonna stand it back up. Round 2 and round 3 will be the same timing, only 1 set this time. 55 seconds of work, weights up. 3, 2, 1. Hinge those hips over, mid-shin. Power it up, come down into that squat. 55 seconds of work, 25 seconds of rest, 1 set each. Make sure those knees don't cave in. Don't round the back as you hinge it over. We're already more than halfway there. Just 20 seconds to go. Ten more seconds. Then we're back down onto the floor. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it to the floor. Whew. Renegade row to this push-up, either with or without the weight. We have 15 seconds. And again, it'll be 1 set, 55 seconds of work. Our knees are coming up in 7 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it up to that high plank. Row it once each side, drop it down to that push-up. Lead with your chest, not your forehead. Make sure you pull that belly button into your spine. We have 20 seconds to go. And then we are on to our last round for this circuit. It'll just be one set again per exercise. 10 seconds remaining. Keep it moving. 3, 2, 1. Let's stand it on up. Whew. Grab a quick sip if you need it. Our last round, same thing, just one set, 55 seconds of work, starting with our deadlift to squat. We got 10 seconds. Come into position, pick those weights up, slight bend in those knees. 3, 2, 1. Hinge it over, back is nice and straight. And you power it up, arms over those shoulders, and you drop it down into that squat. This is our last set of these. Keep moving. Our power compound duo. Only 25 seconds to go. Don't let those knees cave in. Stay strong. Try and get that nice deep squat, what we warmed up for. Last rep, push through, and let's rest. Drop it to the floor. Whew. Our last set of these Renegade row push-ups, 55 seconds. We are coming into our high plank position in 10 seconds. One row on each side, then drop it down to that push-up in 4, 3, 2, 1. We're up. And then we're down. Keep that back nice and straight. If you need to, you can always modify it down to the knees, into that push-up, and then into that row. "30 seconds, and then we get that nice long 60-second break. "10 more seconds. How many more can you fit in? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead and rest. Grab that water. You got 60 seconds. Whew. Catch your breath. Towel it off. And then we're going to stand it on up for our next 2 upper body and lower body movements. We have a curtsy lunge to a forward jump lunge. So standing, you're bringing it back into that curtsy, making sure that back stays nice and straight, hips squared. Then you bring it forward, jump it up to switch, and then bring it back to that curtsy lunge. So side view, curtsy lunge to that forward jump, and then back to that curtsy. Then our second move, we have a pike push-up into an inchworm. So we are starting in an upside down V position. You are going to bend those arms so right before your forehead touches the ground. Power it up. Walk those hands as far in front as you can while keeping that back straight. Then come back into that upside down V to repeat. And then walk it on out past your shoulders if you can. And then you'll bring it back in. But first, we're going to start standing. If you have a weight, you can either hold both or you can hold one if it's light enough. Coming back to that curtsy, forward jump, and then switch. We are getting started in 10 seconds. Whew. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step it on back, then bring it forward, jump it up to switch, and then bring it back. Making sure as you come back into that lunge, that back stays nice and straight, hips are forward. We step it, switch, bring it back. We have 2 sets, 35 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. 2, 1, let's rest. 10 seconds, and then we're starting the same exercise over in 3, 2, 1. Bring it back, then forward, jump it up to switch, and then bring it back. Hips should be nice and squared, always facing in front of you. It should never rotate. And those knees should be pushed out, not in. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and rest. And we are coming into our upside down V. Pike push up to our inchworm in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend those arms, stop right before your forehead touches the ground. Walk it forward, past your shoulders, then bring it back into that upside down V. Straight shoulder work here. You got 10 seconds. Bring those hands past the shoulders as you walk it out. Just make sure that back stays straight. Go ahead and rest. Whew, we got 1 more set of these. Shake out your shoulders if you need to, and then bring it back up. 3, 2, 1. Bend those arms. Walk it out. Bring it past the shoulders. Keep the back straight. Then walk it back to that V. Keep those legs nice and straight the entire time. 10 seconds. 2, 1. Go ahead and rest. And then stand it on up. Again, shake out the shoulders if you need to. Then grab your weights for our curtsy lunge in 3, 2, 1. Step it back. Bring it forward. Jump it up to switch. Then bring it back. Forward. Jump up to switch. Bring it back. We only have 1 set, but it's 55 seconds of work. So try and pace yourself to keep it moving nice and steady the entire time. If that balance is hard for you, just take it extra slow, have the balance, and then drop it down. If the jump is a little too much for you, you can just step it forward, then step it back, and then switch. 3, 2, 1. Let's rest. And let's jump it back to the floor, upside down V. Pike push up to our inchworm. Whew. 1 set, 55 seconds. So bring it to your hands and toes. Downward dog position. We are bending our arms in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend those arms. Stop right before your forehead touches the ground. Then walk the hands out as far as you can reach it while keeping that back nice and straight. We have 30 seconds. And then our final round, one more set for both of these exercises. Ten more seconds. Keep it moving. Burn the shoulders. We got 3, 2, 1. Let's rest. Whew. Shake out those shoulders. If you need to, come into a quick child's pose position. Wow, it's Monday. And then stand it on up. And we will get started with our last set of these curtsy lunges. Grab that weight if you have one. In 3, 2, 1. Step it back. Bring it forward. Jump it up to switch. And then bring it back. So forward, up and switch, and then back. The balance is really tough. Try to find a wall or table near you to hold on to. We have 25 seconds. This is the last time we're doing this exercise. Make sure if you have a weight, especially, you're keeping those shoulders back nice and straight. 10 seconds. 2, 1. Let's rest. And we have our final set of our pike push-up to this inchworm. Coming into our downward dog position. Upside down V, 10 seconds. Whew. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend those arms. Walk them forward. Keep the back straight and your legs. Our last set in this circuit. Nice long 60-second break after this. "20 seconds remaining. Keep it moving. "10 seconds to go. And then our break. Don't quit yet. We got 4, 3, 2, and rest. Whew. Grab some water, towel off, and then we will come into our core section, which is core and weights. So we also have a little bit of lower body, a little bit of upper body. Our first move is a little bit of a balancing movement. So be very careful and slow with it. You're going to start with your arms extended directly in front of your chest. You will step it back into a reverse lunge. Bring it up into a balance. And then you have 2 options here. You can either rotate it with that knee up, staying in that balance, or you can step it back, come up to that balance, and then drop it, and then rotate it. So it just depends where you are with your balance. If you think you can handle it, you're gonna keep it up, rotate the same direction that the leg is up, hips are still staying forward, it's just the torso that's moving, and then you're bringing it back, and then switching sides. Again, that modified version, step it back, bring it up to a balance, drop it, and then turn. So that way, when you turn, it's a little bit easier. Then our second exercise, we've done this one before, Russian twist. So you can have your heels down, toes up as you come to the side. coming into that overhead press. And then if you want that challenge, heels up, and then you're still doing the same movement. So first we're gonna start with arms out. You're gonna step it back, bring it up, and then twist, or you can bring it up to that balance, drop it down, and then twist. And if you don't have a weight, just keep your hands together, arms in front. I still want them out in front to help you with that ab movement. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Make sure you alternate those lunges as we do this movement. Whew. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step it back to that reverse lunge. Bring it up to balance, and then you can either drop it or you can keep it up and turn, and then switch sides. Just make sure you have that balance first. So move nice and slow. All about quality, not quantity. If you don't think you can have that balance, just drop it down and turn. You can even just do a reverse lunge, step it up, and then turn. 1, let's rest. Whew. 1 more set of these. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms out in front. Step it back. Bring it up, knee or waist high, and then try to turn and bring it back. Again, move nice and slow. Keep that core engaged. Keep that back nice and straight, and don't rotate the hips. Everything above the hips is what's twisting. We have 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Whew, my shoulders are hurting. We are going to bring it to the floor. Heels down, toes up. Russian twist with that overhead press. In 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and start. Bring it to the outside of the hip, straight overhead. If you want that challenge, hover those feet off the ground. Just keep them uncrossed. Make sure your arms are going straight over your head. Don't put extra work in for those shoulders. We just have 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's rest. Whew. 1 more set. Either you got your heels down, toes up, or heels are hovering. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it up. Just have 5.5 minutes left for this entire workout. 10 more seconds, and then we're standing back up. 3, 2, 1. Bring it on up. We're coming into our reverse lunge with the balance. Arms over or in front of our chest. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Step it back. Bring that same leg up to balance, waist level, and then rotate in that same direction. Then switch sides. If you don't think that you can hold that balance, you can just step it back, bring it up, drop it down, and then twist it. Try to keep those arms nice and straight in front of you. I know your shoulders probably burning. Mine are too, don't worry. We have 20 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's rest. Bring it to the floor. Whew. Shake out the shoulders. And then we're coming into our Russian twist with that overhead press. Heels down, toes up, or you are hovering them off the ground, keeping those legs uncrossed though. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's begin. Bring those arms straight overhead, then back down outside of the hip. We only have one more round after this, one set each. Keep that back straight, core nice and tight and engaged. Only 25 seconds. Just 10 more seconds. Then we can stand on up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Let's bring it on up. Last set. Reverse lunge into this balance. We have 10 seconds. Weights up. Arms extended over our chest. I'm gonna step it back in 3, 2, 1. Bring it back. Bring that knee up to waist level. Hold it or drop it, whichever version you're doing, and then rotate it. Nice and slow. Stay in control. We have 30 seconds. Keep those arms nice and straight. Ten seconds. Last 10 for this exercise. 2, 1. Whew. Go ahead and rest. Shake out the shoulders one more time, and then bring it to the floor for our last set. Whew. For this exercise and for this workout, we got 10 seconds. Russian twist with this overhead press. Heels down, toes up, or feet hovering in 3, 2, 1. Let's begin. Bringing those arms straight overhead, burning out our shoulders. Keep the back nice and straight. Core engaged and tight. We got 25 seconds, our final 25. And then we're done. We get to cool down. 15 more, come on. 5 seconds. 3, 2, and let's rest. Grab that quick sip of water, towel off, and then meet me in a child pose position. Feet together, knees wide, sitting on our heels, chin to chest. Just whenever you are ready, make sure you grab that quick sip first, and then come into child's pose. Slow it down, focus on your breathing. We are going to take our left hand, flip it over, and bring it across and under our right arm. Now we're going to take our right arm, bring it behind the back so that our palm is facing away and the back of hand is on our back. That right arm should be bent, keeping those hips nice and level. I want you to press that right hand into your back as you pull that right elbow away to stretch out your right shoulder. Go ahead and bring that right arm back into child's pose, and then the left. And then we're going to go ahead, flip that right arm over, bring it across and under, and then bend that left arm and bring it behind the back. Same thing, palm away from you, pull that elbow away, and feel that stretch in your left shoulder. Three, two, one. Go ahead, come back into child's pose. Keeping our forehead on the ground, we are going to swing our hands behind our back, interlock those fingers, and raise them on up. You can either stay in this position, or if you want a deeper shoulder stretch, you can raise the hips up and come onto the top of your forehead. If this hurts your neck, just stay seated on your heels. 3, 2, 1. Let's bring it back down onto your heels if you've come up onto your forehead. Swing the arms back into child's pose, and then we're going to slide our hands forward, coming up into quadruped. Go ahead, come up onto our toes, downward dog position, and we will step that right foot forward into this runner's lunge. If this is a little difficult for you, you can always drop that left knee down to the floor. And then let's pick that right hand up, twist it to the right. And then let's go ahead, bring the right hand back down, step that right foot back, switch sides, left foot forward into this runner's lunge. Again, if you'd like, you can drop that right knee down. And then let's bring that left hand up, shoulders stacked on top of each other. And then we will go ahead, bring the left hand back down. Let's step that left foot back into downward dog. Pedal out those heels, stretching out the calves. And then we will go ahead, walk the hands back to our feet into this forward fold. Try and touch the floor. If you can't, bend the knees so that you can. And then we're going to take a nice big inhale in 3, 2, 1. Inhale it up. Reach for the sky. Hands together. Get a little bit of a back bend in. Bring it nice and tall, and then go ahead. Exhale those arms down. That is all I have for class today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if I do not see you in class tomorrow, have a great Christmas, and hopefully I'll see you guys next week.